Hi, I'm Snez, personal trainer, healthy lifestyle coach, and your guide to feeling your best. This podcast is a segment from my weekly radio show, Wellbeing Wednesdays, broadcast live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. It's all about sharing real, practical tips to help you move more, eat better, and live healthier without the overwhelm. Let's dive in, shall we? Coming up next, we're going to be talking about something that sounds a little bit technical, but stick with me because it is super cool to understand this aspect of our body, and it's called proprioception. Proprioception. Now, it's actually something that you use every day, and it plays a huge role in your balance, your coordination, and in injury prevention, especially as we get older. So in simple terms, proprioception is your body's ability to sense where it is in space. So without you having to look, it's that general sense that you have when you can touch your nose with your eyes closed, or when you can walk through your house in the dark, or you can scratch your back without needing a mirror, or you can step off a curb without twisting your ankle. It's basically your body's internal GPS system, and it works through your muscles, your tendons and joints, which all have little sensors called proprioceptors, and they're constantly sending message to your brain about your position, your movement and your posture. And without proprioception, we'd be clumsy and you'd be continuously off balance. And the thing is, the way that you can sort of think about that is when we're thinking about those muscles and tendons, when we step our foot and say, for example, if our foot is going to twist because we've stepped off the curb incorrectly, the body can get a sense of that stretch of the joints, and it will get the muscles in the opposite direction to contract to be able to correct the ankle from going in the wrong direction and hurting itself. So your muscles and your ligaments and tendons are continuously sending that information through so that your body can react accordingly with stretching certain muscles, strengthening or squeezing certain, releasing other muscles to be able to keep you completely upright. And as we age, our proprioception does start to decline, especially if we're not training it. And then that can lead to more fails. It can lead to a slower reaction time. So you're less able to protect yourself from something if you're about to fall, and rather than having that quick reaction of grabbing hold of something to try and support yourself or just leaning onto the table next to you or something like that. It also adds to poor balance. And the most concerning is joint instability, especially around your knees and your ankles, and that can lead to injury. And when our proprioception does decline with age or with limited use, it leads to less confidence in our movement, which means we become more sedentary, which makes that proprioception even worse because we're not moving our body and conditioning it through asking of it to work through these different movements to keep us upright and stable and moving freely throughout our day. So, you know that little sort of feeling when you step onto an uneven ground and you panic a little because your body isn't sure what's happening? Well, that's your proprioception that's not firing at 100%. And this isn't something that I've really felt in my life until very recently because I'm nursing a broken foot at the moment. And it's something that when I take my moon boot off, which I've been in for about 3 weeks now, when I take it off and place my foot down, I know that I have 100% lost so much proprioception in that foot because I do feel concerned about my foot placement and feeling balanced with that foot. So I know that when I'm out of the boot, I'm going to have to be doing a lot of these exercises that I am describing to you today because I know that is missing out of my foot and ankle at the moment because of the limited use that it has had over the last 10 weeks of my injury now that I've had it for. So the thing is with it, you can train it and it can get better. And that's something that I'm looking forward to training back in that foot because there's nothing worse than feeling that lack of balance. So just like strength or flexibility, proprioception improves with practice and with consciousness of it. So here are a few simple ways that you can start adding some proprioceptive work into your day. So the first one is balance work. So that's one of the easiest things that you can do, is to stand on one leg. You can try it now as long as you're not driving or you're not somewhere where it's inappropriate, but you could stand on one leg, and that's while you're brushing your teeth. Maybe you can alternate legs while you're washing dishes. Maybe when you're hanging something, that would definitely get it quite tricky as you're bringing your arms up over your head and still trying to maintain your balance. If you are out and about waiting in a queue, you can definitely alternate and try and stand there. You can have that other foot there ready to drop down to support you if you need to bring that back to stabilize yourself. But try to hold it for 30 seconds, then try to hold that same balance with your eyes closed. And it's harder than it sounds. And I know that this was something, again, with my foot that I had an osteopath recommend I do, was to, in a couple of weeks' time, start doing that balance work. And I remember thinking that'd be fine, as if I can't stand on one leg. And it is substantially different what I can do on the one side than what I can do on the other side. I can almost not stand on that one foot at the moment, and let alone closing my eyes, I know that would be so much harder. So do this regularly, and it gives your brain and your joints a chance to work together again and to improve that balance and that proprioception. You can also try standing on a pillow or a balance cushion, because that gives you that instability. You can do this, as I said, while brushing your teeth or doing the dishes while you're on one leg. You could also progress to single leg squats or lunges if you're already training as well. Definitely try to do some unilateral type of activities. The second thing that you can do is some functional movement drills. So exercises that involve multiple joints and dynamic control are great for your proprioception. So things like step-ups without holding on, or a side lunge, because you've got that movement off to the side, that foot placement, and then all that weight transfer from one leg to the other. Some of the other things are bear crawls. If you can get down onto the floor and crawl across the floor in any manner, is going to be quite healthy for you. Also very strengthening through the upper body as well as through the core. But you can do some of the dead bugs where you are laying on your back. That's the one where, or the bird dogs where you're on all fours reaching opposite arm and leg. You could do that one. But the key is to do slow, controlled movements. You're not trying to rush these, because remember, we're wanting to pay attention to what the muscles and the body are doing to keep our balance. So if we're rushing quickly through these movements, we're missing the opportunity to feel that alternating muscle contraction as you start to lean off to one side and you feel that opposing hip click in and take over. So they're the sort of things that we want to pay attention to, and they're the ones that we want to strengthen as we're going through these exercises. Now, these exercises can definitely be added into a gym program, into your sort of day-to-day workouts, but they're also really great to wake up with or to go to bed with. They're very simple movements. They don't require any equipment. They're not going to get you too warm, but they are going to really work your proprioception and improve it. Use your eyes less. So this might sound a little bit strange, but removing your visual feedback can really challenge your proprioceptors, because the visual clues about your position in space is where the body gets a lot of data from. So doing things such as brushing your teeth with a non-dominant hand while standing on one leg, and then close your eyes while you're doing those balance exercises. It does sound a little bit like a circus act, but the point is, I imagine circus performers have got extraordinary proprioception, but the idea is just to vary things that you do normally that the body has a real pattern for, and putting yourself in situations that the body is having to pay more attention to and increase your proprioception around your movement in space in that particular activity. But walk barefoot more often. The cushioning in our shoes reduces the proprioception in our feet. So if you can, especially outdoors, to wake up the small muscles in your feet and ankles, is hugely valuable. And the other thing we can do is also add some instability, and we want to do this gradually so we don't put ourselves at a risk of a fall. So this isn't about going out and buying a Bosu, which is the half a fit ball, and doing squats on it while you're juggling and all of this madness that we can see on some of the social media videos and reels that we see, some people doing some nuts things. But what we can do instead is just add some light instability, like a foam mat, because it's not a hard surfaced floor, doing a slow lunge on grass instead of solid ground. So there's that variation that your body's going to have to navigate, and all those muscles will have to work to adjust to stay upright through that lunge action when you are on an uneven surface such as grass, especially if that grass is soft. I'm not sure where in Melbourne we're going to find nice, soft, thick grass at the moment, but you could try walking on sand. All these things will help you get a better real world movement where things aren't always predictable, and it's good to have that proprioception to be able to keep us safe. So when proprioception improves, you feel more capable in your body. You move with more confidence, you prevent falls, you react faster. And if you are doing strength training, improving your proprioception makes your form a lot better and your joint control stronger, and it can actually result in even better results through your training, because it's not just about balance, it's about moving with ease and awareness for your life and throughout your day. So next time you're walking, you're training, or even you're just waiting for the kettle to boil, take a moment to feel where you are in space, tune in, and that's your proprioception. But then in that moment, try and challenge that. Shift your weight over to one side, balance, add some variation into that stance that is going to test your body. Thanks for joining me on this segment from Wellbeing Wednesdays, as heard live on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe so you never miss a show. Want to catch the live broadcast? Well, you can tune in Wednesdays from 12 till 2 p.m. on 88.6 Plenty Valley FM, or find my info on Wellbeing Wednesdays with Snez, the Facebook group. Take care, stay healthy, and remember, it's the little choices every day that create big changes. Talk soon.